Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're actually going to review a game that was given to us by kingof20.com. And so they sent us this game for free and they just said, hey, if you want to review it and check it out. And so we said, send it to us. So let's get into this game. And Tim, why don't you tell us about the instructions?
Okay, so this is all that there is for the instructions. It's pretty simple as far as complexity goes for what you actually do during the game. Once you understand the underlying mechanic for the game, the rest of the game is pretty easy. So he gives you really simple gameplay rules here, and then the scoring is on the back. It was in kind of a bad order, some of the stuff. I would recommend reorganizing it for new players. It does seem like it may have been written by somebody that's played it several times, because the stuff that you'd use constantly is at the front, and then the stuff that you would need for the beginning, first time you play, is kind of in the end of the rule book. Instead, I would reorder that so that beginning players would read what they need first, and then the rest at the end of the book. You know, right. That would make a lot more sense. I would do a lot more bolding in the instruction booklet than he's got. He really just has just a couple subjects bolded, but to bring your attention to certain things, because while you're playing this game, there are certain situations you run into that should have been bolded in the instruction booklet. But overall, it's still fairly simple. He does give pictures, diagrams for certain plays that you can make. It shows why they're illegal or why they're legal, which is really nice. So overall, it's not that difficult to play, and he doesn't make it that difficult to learn to play.
Great. Well, let's talk about the components.
Okay. Well, first of all, as you can see, and as you'll see on the slides that we'll be showing you, is that kind of has a Scrabble feel to it or look to it, just with numbers. The board is made of wood and is hinged together. It's very solid. You could probably hit somebody with the head with it, and it wouldn't.
Wow, you went right to the violence.
It wouldn't do any damage to the board. It might hurt your head a lot. It comes with these pieces here, like you would see in Scrabble, that hold your tiles, and they're made of wood, so they're nice. And the tiles themselves are nice. I mean, that's one of the first things I think when you showed us the game was the quality of the components are fantastic. And then you can get this little baggie right here, a dice bag for the tiles and everything. So I think the pieces are all nice and good quality.
Like everything's wood. It looks like it's gonna last you a lifetime, like you said before.
Well, let's talk about how King of 20 actually plays. So at the beginning of the game, each person is going to get 5 tiles. And each one of these tiles have various things on them. They've got numbers 1 through 9 on them. And then they've got certain mathematic operations like minus, over, times, plus. And so those are actually written on the tiles themselves. And so on a game turn, to start the game out, there's actually not going to be anything on the board. And then you have to play, you can play up to 3 tiles. And one of those tiles has to touch this gray.
You have to play 3 tiles.
You have to play 3 tiles on the first round. And it has to touch one of these gray squares right here. And I guess that's just to get the ball rolling so that you're not building it off in a corner so the game couldn't progress. And so you build it right here to start, and then the next person is going to go, and they have to add on to what was already put onto the board. So you're going to kind of spider out on the board, and it's going to grow. And so on your turn, you are going to try to play a certain number of tiles, up to 3 tiles, and you're trying to get as close to 20 as possible. So let's say that you scored 17, and so you're trying to get to 20. So then if you're under 20, then you're going to subtract the difference, and that's going to be your score. So let's say you scored 17, so 20 minus 17 equals 3, so you're going to put 3 down on the number pad. That's what you scored that round. If you score over 20, then you're going to subtract 20 from that. And so let's say you scored 26, then you'd subtract 20, and then you're going to score 6. So 20 is kind of the medium ground. That's where you're trying to get. If you actually scored 20, then you would score 0, which is the best possible move that you could do. And that's why the game is called King of 20. You're trying to get to 20. So that kind of balances you out. So this isn't a how many points can you score game. I want to get the most possible points. No, you're trying to get the least possible points and get back to 0. So each turn it's going to build as that. So somebody's going to add on. And so you might, it's just going to kind of spider out on the board, and you're always trying to get back to 0. That way at the end of the game, whoever has the least points is the winner of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And some stuff like, because when you first think of it, you think of Scrabble because of the square pieces and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that you just can't do that you would do in Scrabble. Like, you can't make 2 expressions in one turn, which you could do in Scrabble. You get the multiple word scores and stuff. And this one, instead, if you do that, it's an illegal move. They keep it simple by making it so it's only single digits instead of double digits, which is nice. Because then the math in your head isn't that hard. Because you get a short time period for your turn. It's like a 30-second timer. So, it kind of moves fast. So everybody's kind of thinking in their head all the math stuff before they go. So
I like the scoring system on it. At the beginning, when we were first learning the instructions, but by making it 20 or making it some type of equation that they're asking you to reach, it changed the game a lot. So you had to use a different strategy on it than you normally would.
Yeah.
I like the way that so the point system was really good. I like the way it's set up.
Yeah, because it does get complex. The longer the game goes, the harder it is to get to 20. And it is a little luck based off of what you draw, because you're drawing tiles blindly, and so what you're going to play on the board depends on what you drew and depends on what other people played before you. So what's neat about that is it could change by the time it gets back around to you. What you were going to play could have been taken, or what you're going to play could change because somebody before you played the perfect one for you to add on to and get your perfect score. And so we had that throughout the game that we played here, where somebody was scoring 20 or 22 or 3 rounds in a row and got 0 points, which is great. And then the next round, he placed the wrong tile and scored like 30 points. It's just terrible. So there were some up and down moments, which was fun.
that does bring up a situation that was not covered in the rules with negatives, because I didn't see anything mentioning the negatives. So we just scored it to where they actually went to the negatives and then compared it to 20, which gave them a ridiculous score.
Yeah, he scored like 32 that round or something.
Which I actually like that, because it gives it the option to be a ridiculous score, kind of knock somebody out of the game.
Yeah, because the rules state that once you place a tile, you can't move it. So he placed the tile in the wrong spot, and then he did the math afterwards and was like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to. Too late. You got like 30 points."
That was Tim that did that, by the way.
Yeah.
We're just pointing at Rod. 'Cause he's
Exactly.
over there. Overall, I like the game as a quick playing, just kind of a family oriented game. There's not a lot of depth to this, but there's replayability. Like, I know we keep saying Scrabble, because it just sticks in your head once you get it in your head, but it's not really Scrabble because there's no letters. It's just all
Just
numbers. But for that category game, it's nice and it's actually pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you don't like math, you're not gonna like this game. It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I think that it actually could be kind of a staple game like a Scrabble, because I could take this out. Now, I'm not going to play this with gamers,
Right.
somebody that I think is a gamer, but I'm definitely going to play this game with, like, my in-laws and probably my wife. We could sit down. I could totally see me pulling this out on a family vacation when I'm with some in-laws and different people, adults. My kids are too young to play this. But maybe when my son gets, maybe 8 or 9 and he's trying to do some math and stuff, this would actually be a great game. So
yeah.
teachers would love this game. But I don't want to label it as like an educational game, because I do think other people would probably like it. This isn't going to be my first choice of a game. I've got a whole closet full that I would probably choose before this game, but I'm not saying that it's a bad game.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a party game. I mean, it's just, and we're using Scrabble because it really fits. I mean, it's the equivalent using numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it has a little bit of different, has different how they set up and everything. But I mean, I see it in the same way you see Scrabble. Scrabble's an educational game. This is an educational game.
Right.
People can learn a lot from both games. I think it's a neat little game. I agree with you. Would other people that are not into gaming. So in other words, they're not want to play Twilight Imperium. You know, they want to only spend 30 or 40 minutes playing a game. This is a perfect game for those type of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because overall, I mean, I think it took about 20 minutes to play,
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
so it wasn't that bad.
Right.
No. So and that adds to the good parts of the game is that you can play it quickly. So if you do mess up or you got a round like what you did where you
Right.
totally blow it, then you know, sorry, but you know that you can come back and let's play again and dive right back into it and,
Sure.
you know, and see what you pull the next time. So at the end of our reviews, we like to give it a 1 dice review. And so if it's a green, we love the game and we tell you to go buy it. If it's a white dice, that means that we like it. We'd play it if it was out, but we probably wouldn't buy the game. And then red means don't buy it, and I wouldn't play it if somebody asked me to play. So let's put out our reviews, and we have. And yours is? Tell us why you gave it your dice.
Well, I gave it a white because it is family oriented. It's not one that I personally would purchase because I don't really play family oriented games. But if, say, I was in a group, like, you know, I brought my wife over to your house, this is a game that I would play if it was on the table.
Right. I gave it a white too because that's the same thing. Like I would think if I had this game, I would probably play it with certain people, and I think that they would probably really like it. It reminds me of some other games. There's another game called Sequence, and it reminds me a lot of that, where it's the board, and I have some family that love that game, and so I think they would probably really like this one too.
I actually gave it a green, and the reason is because like for my wife, and when she has the non-gamers over our house, I think this is a perfect game for this stuff. The thing is, I guess price point is the thing that we're not aware of what this is going to come in at. That would be the only deciding factor to change that.
Yeah, definitely. So again, we want to say thank you to King of 20 for hooking us up with this free game, and we did enjoy it. And so maybe this game is for you. Check out their website, kingof20.com. Thanks for watching our board game reviews, and find out more about us at boardgamecloset.com. And we're on Facebook and Twitter as well. And as always,
Support your local hobby shop.